Hilchis Melachim u'Melchames Perik Revi. Rishus yesh lemelech liten mas al ha'am litzrochov elitzerich ha'melchames v'koitziv le'meches. So there's a mas and a meches. Mas is something which is on the person. In other words, each person has to pay a certain amount. Meches is more on the schayra. In other words, you put a tax on certain type of businesses. And so when you buy certain things, there's a tax on it. Or when you travel through a certain road, there's a tax. That would go into the gather of a meches. So the melech is allowed to institute a mas and he's institute a meches for the purpose of running his own needs and also for the mulchamas. And v'osur lahavriach min ha-meches shalei. It's an isur to not pay this tax either side the mas and side the meches. And v'yeshli ligzer, and since Lepel he has a right to institute this tax, and people don't have a right not to pay this tax, is v'yeshli ligzer, shekol mi sheyigniv ha-meches, yulakach mamene, it could be to take away all his money, or yeharik, or even to kill the person. Shenamar va'atem tio, where we see that a melech has a right to institute a tax. Shenamar va'atem tio le'ilavodim. Now this pasuk va'atem tio le'ilavodim says in the parsha of Shmuel, which discusses what the melech, when they wanted the melech that time by Shmuel, and he anointed Shaul. So over there, Shmuel told them what a melech is going to be. So he says va'atem tio le'ilavodim. You're going to be avodim to this melech. So we see that the people to the melech are considered avodim. Ula halanu, there's another pasuk in Dvarim, where over there it speaks about conquering a land. We're talking about conquering a goyish land, where the Yidden are conquering a goyish land. So, and they give in and they accept the sovereignty of the Yidden. So ula halanu yiu l'chol mas v'avaducha. So it says that when they accept the sovereignty of the Yidden, so they yield l'chol mas v'avaducha. So we see avaducha and mas go together. Is mikan shenoisen mas v'koitzev meches. So from here we learn out. Since it says that atem tio le'ilavodim b'negei melech, and then it says v'hoyu l'chol mas v'avaducha. So we see mas and avaducha go together. So we see that a melech could go ahead and institute a mas. And v'chdinav b'chol elu advarim k'yesvim din, when he institutes a mas or a meches, it's always a din shkola omer b'parshas melech. Anything that says in Shmuel, that Shmuel speaks about to the Yidden about what a melech is, wasn't only to scare them of what a melech is going to be, but the Ram says that it's din of din shkola omer b'parshas melech zeichabe. The melech is actually zeich and all those things. So part of that is va'atem tio leil avodim, and by avodim is tio lechol. It says so we learn out that a melech has a right to institute a mas and a meches, and he also has a right that if you don't, and there's a chiyuv to listen to him, and there's also, if they don't listen to him, he has a right to punish at kedekach, that someone that doesn't pay the mas is yehorik. Now this didn't be pastors. The Rambam is talking about a Yiddish melech. He's talking about a Yiddish melech, that a melech has a right to institute a mas, and we're learning it out from that pasuk in Shmuel. My says this din that a melech has a right to institute a mas. Pashtus is also a non-Jewish melech, because we learned in Hilchos Gzeila, we learned B'negei Amuchas, someone that's a tax collector. So it says a tax collector. So if he takes, so normally the tax collectors used to take money shalei al pidin, so they would be becheskas gazlan, and maybe they would be pasal edus. There's dinim of amuchas. He says b'medvar mamurim amuchas that takes whatever he wants. Masha'inkin of amuchas takes exactly what the melech instituted he should take. So fakert, he's not doing anything wrong because the melech has a right to take it. And there's an isser not to give what the melech is demanding. And if a person doesn't take, so he's doing an isser. So from over there, the pastors advarim over there, the Ram wasn't talking about a muchas dafke of a Yiddish melech. The Ram was talking about a general din, and the Ram brings the din of din al malchus adina. The pastor din al malchus adina is not a din of a Yiddish melech. The Ram over here also says din of b'chol elu advarim melech. But when the Gemara, whenever the word din al malchus adina is mentioned, the pastors akavani, even goyish melech, a regular malchus. If there's the Torah recognizes that there's a certain din of a melech, and his melech, when he institutes a din, his din has a din of a din. And therefore, the mashal gabi certain kinyanim. The Gemara says that even though it's not a kinyan al pitera, but since it's a kinyan bedinu de malchusa, so therefore din de malchusa dino. So I'm saying the Rambam over here is saying this din lechura mitzad hilchas dini melech Yisrael, but this din lechura, you have to just how to mutava these two inyanim. This din that a melech has a right to institute a meches, and that if you don't pay the meches, so that has a din of gzela. That's something which is lechura lav dafke b'malchi Yisrael. It's also b'malchi u'mesela. Halacha beis v'sheleach b'chol gvul Yisrael v'lekeach min ha'am hagiberim v'anshi achayil. So another thing a melech could do is that he could go ahead and send messengers and look out for the Giberim and Anshe Chayil that there are amongst Klal Yisrael. V'oisim mehem Chayil l'merkavti u'beparoshav. He could make them as being part of the people that run his chariots, and also the people that are riding, the paroshav are people that are riding the horses that are accompanying these chariots. U'maymid mehem aimdim lefonav, people to stand in front of him, in order to serve him, and also to be mechabedim. U'maymid mehem anoshim loretz lefonav, shenamar v'somli b'markavti. This all says over there in Shmuel, v'somli b'markavti u'beparoshav. He's going to put it in his chariots, and his paroshav, his riders, and v'rotzel lefnei markavti, and also the people that run in front of the merkava. So the three types of people: there's people that are part of the merkavti, and then there's the paroshav, and then there are the rotzim lifnei merkavti. So that's also, he has a right to take these people. And v'lekech min hayofim shebem, from the nicer of the people that are amongst, we're talking about the men over here. Liyah shamoshim ve'imdim lefonav, to be the shamoshim, and people that stand in front of him. So those people, so since they're standing in front of him, so it's more of a covet for him that they should be from the yofim shebem. Shenema v'ez bachurechem hatoivim v'ez chamirechem yikach v'asil lemlachte. So he's allowed to go ahead, even though normally you can't force someone to put someone in a position. A person just accepts it if he wants to, but a melech has a right to force people into positions. In other words, that they should come and be part of his chariot, be part of his the people that ride in front of him, the people that are mishamish in front of him. In other words, he could force people to do things even if they don't want to do it. V'chein likeach mikol bali unius kol mashu tzarich ve'eisen le'malachti. People that are craftsmen, that have a certain umnus, he could go ahead and force them to go and do things for him. And over here it says he has to pay them. Now the Rambam before, when he spoke about the Giberim Nanshi Chayil Merkavti Paroshav, he doesn't speak about paying them. Mashengan over here, when he speaks about Mali Umnis, he speaks about paying them, and he also, the Rambam also speak about paying. And the Chilik is Poshet. In other words, when a person, when the Rambam speaks about taking a person and he's becoming part of the Rambam, part of the Melech's chariot or part of his horse riders, so that becomes his position in life. And obviously, he's supported by the palace or by the kings. The king supports these people. In other words, they're not just working for the king; they are becoming part of the paroshav and the merkavte and the rotzim lefanov. So it's not like a job. Masha'inkin, when you take these baliumnas, these are baliumnas. They are people. He's a tailor. He's a tailor. He's not. He doesn't become part of the workers of the king. No, the king needs a tailor to do his work. He needs a shoemaker. He needs whatever he needs. So mainly he could force these people that are very good in their job to go ahead and work for the melech, and the melech has to pay him, because you can't. The melech has no right to force someone to work for him and not get paid. He has a right to force someone in a position, and now that person will be completely supported. He won't be paid. He'll be completely supported by the king. It'll be a different type of situation. Mashenkin, these people are just working for the king. That's pashtus. They do the work for him. And also, he goes ahead and takes these behemoths or avodim shvachas that he needs for his work, and either if he's taking them temporarily, so he only pays for their work, or he buys them completely, and then he completely buys them. He has a right to do all this work, and the Rambam is saying he could take them completely and pay for them, or he could take them and pay for their work. Is Bekitzer, at his disposal, entire Klal Yisrael is at his disposal for the things that he needs. He can't force someone to work for him and not get paid. He could force someone to work for him and he'll get paid. He could force someone to become part of his the people that are completely dedicated to him, like Merkavte and Paroshev, etc. He could also force them. And obviously, if they're going to be part of that league of people, so then obviously he'll support them. Halacha Daled. That's as far as workers are concerned. So we learned first he could force people to pay taxes, and the taxes per person, taxes on certain schera. He could force people to come and work for him, either to join his group of people, of employees that are completely involved in his work, or people that are working for him temporarily, and he'll pay them, or he'll buy off avodim mishvachis. Again, he forces that the best avodim mishvachis should become his. Now we're saying another chiddush, mikol gvul Yisrael, noshim upilakshim. He could go ahead and take mikol gvul Yisrael, noshim upilakshim, noshim biksuba. Wives mean biksuba, which means he writes her a ksuba. So it becomes like a regular wife where he's kind of like normally kedushin biksuba. Now normally a kedushin has to be midaita. A isha has to be niskadesh midaita. So it passes over here also has to be midaita. The achreinim bring that he could force them to agree, just like there's a musik keifanei sachiretzane. There has to be if we're talking about noshim biksuba, it has to be a maisakinyan. Maisakinyan can't be balkorcha. There's no das makna. There has to be that she agrees, but even if she's not interested in agreeing, she could be forced and coerced into be agreeing. So and then she could have also, he could have bilakshim. Pilakshim, there's no maisakinyan b'chlal. There's no maisakinyan by pilakshim. It's a noshim without a ksuba and without kedushin. Without kedushin, without ksuba. Together with pilegesh that she's miyuchatim. She's a pilegesh which is miyuchatim, but there's no ksuba and there's no kedushin. V'chein likech mikol gvul Yisrael noshim o pilakshim. Noshim means b'ksuba v'kedushin, u'plakshim is b'lei ksuba u'kedushin, without ksuba and kedushin. Ella b'yichud b'lvad is koina oisa. His koina oisa as being his pilegesh, or muteres lein, she becomes muteres, which normally a regular person, not a melech, is not supposed to have a pilegesh. The Rambam says. In other words, he's supposed to be if he wants to live with a woman, he has to be mekadesh. He should be mekadesh. There's a mitzvah saseh of kedushin. Mashenkin of melech has a special din that he can take a pilegesh. Nochmal, el biyichud bilvad kein esu muteres le'aval ahedit aser b'pilegesh. Ella, the only case where there's similarity to pilegesh, the Rambam says, is ella ba'am ivriya bilvad acher yud. It's not a little difficult to understand. How does the Rambam compare a pilegesh to am ivriya acher yud? Am ivriya acher yud is her wife. It's just there's normally a din of wife is you deal with the woman and you mekadesh her, or you deal with the father and you say harei bitchom kudeshesli. Mashenkin by Om Evriya, over there you acquire her as an Amma, and then later on you could go ahead and say that the money that you used, that no Sareyat Mekudeshesli, without going through the act, you don't have to have a Maisa Kinyan. There's no Maisa Kinyan of Om Evriya later on. No, there's no Nesinas Kesav Shtar. That's not the Maisa Kinyan. You just say that she's Miyuedesli, and through that she becomes becomes Yud. So that's like the comparison. The comparison is just like a pilegesh. There's no maisakinyan. There's just that there's yichud, and through that she becomes a pilegesh. So al derazeh by Om Ivriya, it's hard to understand that the Rambam making the comparative. And those a hedyet is also a pilegesh, because you have to have kedushin. By Om Ivriya she becomes mekudeshes. Through the year she becomes mekudeshes. So in that prat l'chura there's no similarity. And Om Ivriya becomes a mekudeshes. She becomes a regular wife. After yud she needs a get. By Pelagish, she doesn't need a get. Masha'inkin, in that prat, that there's no Maisakinyan, that's the similarity to Yud. I'll call one. Aval ha'edit also be Pelagish. Ela ba'amar be'evriya bulvad acher Yud. Then it's mutter, even though there was no Maisakinyan. That's l'chorei the pshat, not so clear. Then the Rambam continues, v'yesh lo ilasis ha'pilakshim sh'likech la'armeinei taboches v'oifes v'rakoches. He could make them into that these pilakshim. He could go ahead and make them into taboches, that they should be cooks, oifes, and bake for the palace. And v'rakoches are people that mix psamim or mix perfume, spices or perfumes. Shnemer is neisechem yikach lerakoches or letaboches or leifes. So again, another right of the melech is to take wives from Klal Yisrael according to his wishes. And again, there has to be a Maisakinyan. Maisakinyan would be that she agrees to that Maisakinyan, but she could have to be coerced into agreeing. Normally, you're not allowed to force someone into agreeing to a kedushin. Masha'inkin over here, since he's a melech, so he's lekeach mikol gvul Yisrael noshim b'kedushin, b'ksube kedushin, and also he could take pilakshim, and those pilakshim he goes ahead and makes them into taboches, eifis, and rakoches. Halacha hey v'chein koifes aruyin li sorim memana ism sori alof and sori chamishim. Those that are capable, they're eligible, capable of being officers. Shnema v'losim le sori alofim v'sori chamishim. Halacha vav v'likeach hasodes v'azesim v'akromim lavodov k'shiyelchol amulchama v'yifshetu al mekemes elu. So when his avodim go on to war and they need food, so they could go ahead and spread out on people's fields, on people's vineyards, on people's where they have olives, and they could go take it. The king has to pay for it. And he takes it and gives it to the kings. But again, when he takes it, he doesn't take it for free. He has to pay for it. He has a tenth of all the things that grow, the seeds that grow, and trees, and also from the animals. He will take a tenth of the things that grow, of your seeds and of your vineyards, and also your sheep he will take a tenth of. Now, Melech HaMashiach is a special din that noitel mikol ha'arotze shekoivshin Yisrael chelik echad mishlei shesri. From all the lands that the Yidden will conquer, he takes a 13th. That's we learn out from a pasuk and a pasuk Yecheskel. The Gemara says in the Gemara, "V'davar ze choik loy ulabanav adel." The Melech HaMashiach takes a 13th of the fields that he conquers. Now there's a dion if he's also going to conquer part of Eretz Yisrael, so he can't really take, because Eretz Yisrael really belongs to the Shvatim. So we're talking about. So we'll pale the Rambam says Mikol Haratzos. So that's what they bring from Aram Shik, that he says that we're talking about Moshe Keni Knizi V'Kadmeni, which there wasn't a Chelik Ba'aretz at that point in time. So Mela from the Keni Knizi V'Kadmeni as well as Chutz La'aretz, so the Melech HaMashiach will take a 13th. Mashenkim, when the Eretz Yisrael itself, since Eretz Yisrael was in Schalka L'Shvatim, so the people from those Shvatim are entitled to that portion of Eretz Yisrael if they're being conquered even by Melech HaMashiach. So B'kitzur, Melech HaMashiach has a special din that he gets a 13th of Kol HaRotzes Shekevish. Kol HaRotzes includes Eretz Yisrael and Chutz La'aretz, but in Eretz Yisrael Guf, it means only, according to some that I was saying from the Rambam Shik, that it means Keni Knizin Kadmeni. Halacha tes. Kol Harugi HaMelech, people that are killed by the Melech, which the din the Melech is allowed to kill someone if he was made b'malchus, if he didn't listen to the king, or other reasons, or no, the Melech could, in order to make law and order, he also could be Harugi Malchus, like we learned, is Mamenum LaMelech, the king, their money, all their possessions belong to the Melech. V'chol HaMamlocha Shekevish, and when the king conquers a country, is Hari Oitzreis HaMelachim LaMelech. Now we're not talking about Melech HaMashiach Dafka. We're talking about Hari Oitzreis HaMelachim LaMelech, the Oitzer that belonged to the Melech that he conquered belongs to the Melech Yisrael. Ush'ara biza sheboizism, all the rest of the booty is boizism v'neisen lefonav, he puts in front of them. V'hu netel machzis bereish, she's entitled to half of the biza, u'machzis habiza, and the other half of the biza is chil kinoiso kalanchi atzove biyachad im ha'om hayesh malakelim b'machnu l'shamra. So nachamol. So there's the king, when they go ahead and they conquer a country, so the oitzer of the king of that country belongs to the Melech. So those the coffers and all the money that was lying in the oitzers, they belong to the Melech. Now the rest of the money that's in the things that they're taking the booty from this country, so half of it, they put it in front of everyone. The Melech is entitled to take half, and the other half belongs to the people that went to war. But on the other hand, amongst the people that went to war, there were the people that actually went and fought, and then there were the people that were watching the Caleb of the people that were going to war. There were the people that were Yeshmal HaKaleb. So Mela, they divide equally the rest of the Biza. That's what he's saying. Those that were watching the machna, there was a machna, there was the machna of the soldiers, and then when the soldiers go out to war, they go out of the machna, so people have to stand to watch the machna. So those are the people that are also divided with the soldiers that go out to war. They divided equally. Halachiyut. Kol ha'aretz shekovish harehi sholei. Now this the Rambam is talking about, again, that the Rambam is talking, not talking about Melech HaMashiach. Melech HaMashiach, we said before in Halacha Ches, that Melech HaMashiach netel mikol ha'aretz shekev shen chelik ech mishlish aser. It's a special din. It's a deal on how does it work? Why does it change? But Al Kopan, we learn out of a pasuk. The Gemara says in Bava Basra. But now we're talking about a regular melech. Kol ha'aretz shekevish, whenever he conquers land, is harei shalei. Noisen lavodav l'anshei milchama kvi mashira. In other words, he could divide it as he chooses. Umenich las mashirtza. B'chol elu advarim din of din. So, when a melech goes ahead and conquers land, so the land belongs to the melech, and he could do with the land whatever he wants. He could give it to the Anshe Milcham, as he chooses. However, we said before that when Melech HaMashiach will conquer land, then he will only take 1/13 of that land. He will take only 1/13 of the land, and that seems to be Kol Ha'aratzos, which is also Eretz Yisrael. And now we said that there's the Achreinim say that when we're speaking about Eretz Yisrael, we're not talking about Eretz Yisrael Shel Chalkel L'Shvatim, because the Eretz Yisrael Shel Chalkel L'Shvatim belong to the people that own the Eretz Yisrael. And we're talking about the Eretz Yisrael of Keni Knizi V'Kadmeni. Now over here, when the Rambam says Kol Ha'aretz Shekevish, over here also it means Chutz La'aretz. It doesn't mean Eretz Yisrael, because Eretz Yisrael belongs to the people that was Nischalkel L'Shvatim, so he has no right to take that away from them. Mashenk and Kol Ha'aretz Shekevish, we're talking about Eretz outside Eretz Yisrael. So the Eretz that outside Eretz Yisrael, Harei Hisholei. Ubachel, so we're saying there are certain rights that he has. He has rights to take things and to force his will on different people or different issues. Ubachel yiyah ma'asav l'shem shamayim. What he does should be l'shem shamayim. V'tiyah machshavti u'megamosei laharim daso emes. His interest should be to raise the daso emes, u'lemalis o'elam tzedek, and to fill the world with righteousness. The purpose of Milchamas is in order to raise the Daso Emes and to break the arm of Resha. To do judgment. And judgment means that things should be righteous. I'm not talking about judging like a dayan, which is in Sanhedrin. Over here, Mishpat means to make sure that things are done with righteousness. V'yotzel fanenu v'nilcham is milcham yisem.